Hi guys, it's Louise from Craft Geek Dioramas here, and I thought I would showcase my new commission piece that I've just finished. This piece was commissioned a few weeks ago, and the guy who commissioned it has got a figure that is specifically going to be going into this, and I think this is probably going to be used a lot for display. It is going into a glass IKEA detolf unit. So I've made the measurements to make sure it will go in nicely. And the theme for this one is Silent Hill, and the guy is a huge fan of the Silent Hill game. And the look that he wanted was to have sort of a corridor feel, hospital corridor feel to it. Obviously dirty, grimy, bloody, obviously, and this is what we came up with in the end, and I have to say I'm really pleased with how this one's come out. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. The overall size of this piece is it's 12 inches high. It is just under 12 inches deep because the detolf unit is just under that, and the actual width of this piece is, I think it's 36 centimeters, so that just runs probably about just over 13 inches across, so that will fit into the unit nicely. I actually finished the outside of this one too in a dry brush grey, because obviously it's going to be on display, so the sides and the back have been dry brushed as well. So with this piece here, again, it's magnetised as usual. So we've got the two side pieces and the back piece all magnetised to the base. So if I take one off, I can show you. Okay, so there we go. So we've got two magnets on the bottom of that one, and we've got two magnets in the base, and then we've got a magnet at the top here and there. So it will go back on and snap together nicely. Again, the same with that one and the back. So with the actual effect that I went with for this, all this is used, all the stuff I've used on this is mainly blue styrofoam, 10mm blue styrofoam, that I always use on my pieces. And I have got a tiny little bit of balsa wood here which I use for the door, and I did use some balsa wood around the internal part here as well. And the emergency sign I printed off the internet, and I've adhered it to some foam board, which then I glued to the piece, and then obviously distressed to make it look a little bit dirty and grimy. And then it gives a bit more of an idea of a sort of a hospital type theme. So yeah, so that's basically what I did. And on the base here, I've done a lot of research on the Silent Hill game, because I'm not that familiar with it, I will be honest. So I kind of knew of it, but I needed to have a little bit more research. So I kind of done a lot of research of Google Images, and I saw one image that was sort of a hospital type room that had a white tiled floor with a lot of tiles sort of coming broken out and just sort of laying on the floor with a lot of blood, obviously, on the floor. So that's what I did with the floor. I thought it would just give it a little bit of you know, a little bit of texture to it, really, because otherwise if it's all grey it would be a bit sort of a bit too dark. And one of the images shows sort of like blood going through the door, so I thought that was quite cool. So I kind of copied that idea, and I quite liked that. And I wanted to get my blood to look, I don't know if you can see it very well on here, but I wanted my blood to have obviously different tone to it. And I also wanted it to look shiny, so I wanted it to look like it was fresh. I didn't want it to look like it had been dried. So the way I went about that was, obviously I made my colour palette up, and I made about 3 different palettes of reds. So I started with a red with a little bit of black, and then, well, actually I used black ink. I used red acrylic paint, and then to colour it I used black ink. Indian ink actually, and it actually worked really well. And what I did is I'd done 3 different reds, so I did like the lighter red, the mid-tone, and then the real dark red with adding more drops of the black ink. And then what I did then is I added diamond glaze to the mixture. Now diamond glaze is like a it's like a glue that a lot of people who make jewellery use. It kind of leaves a clear coating on top of like Scrabble tiles and things like that. Well, I had some, and I mixed it together with the paint, and I experimented first, and it actually did come out really shiny. So that's why I went for it on this style here. So when you actually look at the blood, it actually does look sort of very shiny and fresh. So that's why I did that with the diamond glaze, and I have to say it came out pretty well. I'm really pleased with the way that came out. And with the blood here, I just dipped some rag into the paint and just kind of smeared it through, and a little bit of blood, dried blood up the door as well. So that's how I did the blood. And with the tiles here, what I basically did was cut it a little bit deeper around the square, and then I got my knife and I just slowly went in underneath and cut it and popped them out. And what I like is that it actually leaves sort of like a bumpy effect to it, which is quite cool. So yeah, I did that. And we've got some here, like a partially broken one, and we've got the other piece over here from there. So yeah, so that's what we did with the floor. And the actual doorway, I wanted to make the doorway look like it was going into sort of a room of some form. Obviously on this one I decided to make it look like it was going into the emergency room. So double doors that, you know, you would push open with a bed. And the effect I did on this is I actually can't really see the colours that great here. My phone really doesn't pick up colours very well at all, but the actual door is more of a metallic silver. And then all these little holes here that I've kind of put into the piece are sort of like gunshot holes. And what I did is I've kind of like made it look a bit, that's not good, made it kind of look rusty and stuff coming down there. So that's what I did with the door. And then with the side panels and walls, I kind of like done a two-tone colour. I use more of a lighter brownie with a touch of white up here. Believe it or not, it looks more grey, but it is actually more sort of brown. And then the base here, I used a grey with a little bit of white as well to add sort of a two-tone colour to it. And then these pieces here, I wanted to make them look like they were wood railings going down. So I obviously dry brushed those brown, and then just added a bit of accent colours to those. And then obviously I add a lot of texture to the wall to make it look really sort of messed up. A little bit of blood on the wall too. More dry blood really. My camera's got that awful purple effect again, I do apologise. And yeah, so the actual piece will be for the pyramid figure from Silent Hill, if anybody's obviously familiar with that. And he runs at, I believe, about 7.5 inches tall, obviously because he has got the pyramid part to the top of his head, so that's probably why he does actually run a bit higher. But I've got Barney Ross here. I haven't got any horror figs, I'm afraid. And he's just over 7 inches tall. So you can kind of gauge the scale there that I worked at for that one. Okay, so really that's it. That's the story of that piece. So I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologise for my terrible reviews. I'm really not one for talking, but I know that people like to see my work, so I do my best, and hopefully I'll get better as I go along. But yeah, so that's that piece there, and hopefully soon I'll be able to show you my next commission piece, and hopefully we'll have some more work to keep showing you, and you can keep viewing. Okay, well thanks everybody for your likes and for your views, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.